Okay. I'm going to turn this volume up just a little bit. For whatever reason, the application that the extension Andy ended to preset those, it doesn't work properly for whatever reason. But anyways, Diusi, I see you. How are you doing today? Get up. That is not the link I want. Hey, Phoenix. Di. Do you remember what happened last time? Yes, no, maybe? You know what happened last time? You mean covering for K, right? Yes. We figured out the Gumshoe was covering for K. Well, K wasn't involved. But covering something for K, like, he didn't want to reveal that K broke a promise with her dad. So that's what he was trying to do anyway. So we'll lower this camera just a little bit. And then this one. Okay. So, and then we found out that she figured out that her dad is gone. We had a big moment where she just broke into tears, which I bet a little fairy probably also broke into tears too. So, yes, we are still sponsored by Poggers. Go ahead and check the link and take the opportunity to get your 10% while it lasts. September 10th, 5:45 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Just as a heads up, the demo for this is available for free. So if you want to try out the first episode of both games, go right ahead. Like I said, we'll stream Prosecutor's Gambit when we finish this game. We got a long road, and like I said, we probably won't do Prosecutor's Gambit until probably in October. You could have streamed it. there are a lot of Ace Attorney fans that are actually looking forward to seeing it, because we never got Prosecutor's Gambit here in the States, which, in my opinion, they should have still kept it. Should have called it Prosecutor's Path, because Miles Edgeworth wasn't gambling his career in through the game. It was a path to reclaim his title as prosecutor. For those of you that hasn't heard about the story, I apologize for spoiling that much. No, because Gambit defines as gamble. Miles Edgeworth did not gamble anything. They automatically just took it from him. So he didn't gamble anything. He worked his way back up to go get it back. So Gambit is a very misleading title. Very misleading. What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent? Nothing flowers. Uncle Bad, is this it? It looks like you managed to escape the bailiff. Ruby, welcome. What's your good news? You got a new laptop? Wonderful. Hopefully it's a lot powerful than the other one you have. No, that's not quite it. Too bad. But it's so pretty. That's good to hear. Did you try streaming with it? I'm assuming that's probably a no, since you just recently got it, and you haven't really been that far to test it out. So you can stream with PC games with Discord. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Because with Discord, you don't have to actually hit the stream button. You screen capture it. But you'll try a streaming software later, right? I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Thanks! I'll treasure it always. You two seem to be getting along really well. Oh, here, I've got something else for you. Yay, thank you, Uncle Bad. Bought her this. Earlier, I ate one of these with gummy. Oh, you mean gumshoe. Gummy is... He was trying to be nice to me because I was going to get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Gummy. I know you didn't kill Daddy! Don't cry. Her day would be sad if he saw you crying. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not crying! it's the mister from before and the lady, too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you know. Actually, Uncle Dad's assistant. So I'm related to the investigation. Is that so, Detective Ben? Yeah, I guess. What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You also had a few things you wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with it, but I am curious as to what Mr. Yu is looking into. Uncle Bad, I'm going to go look somewhere else now, okay? Alright, I'm counting on you. Oh, that's right. Hey, mister. Yes, what is it? I know Gummy really is the bad guy. I need it. So please. Find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the balance of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. I wonder off while I was pondering. Yes? What is it? What is that smell that has permeated the air? It's sweet and flowery, although at this strength, I'm likely to suffocate from it. I can't conduct an investigation under these circumstances. We need to open a window and air this room out. I demand that you open a window right now. Hurry. There happens to be a window that's already open, though. Francisco, one of the windows is already opened. I can see that. I wonder, is it just a coincidence that one of the windows in this room is already open, too? No, more like it's a pattern, and it's very related to the case. Detective Ben, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose it was something to do with Kay? It does, because she spared a daughter. Anyways, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to wait. It sounds like you'd rather be alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. But that as it may, we still have questions that need answers too. Now that, first of all, what is that overpowering smell that's permeating this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate. It's that ultra-strong perfume you wear. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window, but that smell's still here. Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in this area is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite extent. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand. It said it's a famous brand from overseas. It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff. No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it. I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail. Why can't she ever be honest about her wit? Just use perfume. data jotted down into my organizer. So now we have the platoon everywhere. Is that all you wanted to talk about? That's all I'm going to be going back to investigate. Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire. So, what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together. You two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagaraki case. Oh, that's good to hear. You have to install an application to your laptop to get it to work. There's instructions into the box that tell you how to do it. So make sure you follow those instructions to the T. Did we touch a nerve? I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial to prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu, which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After that accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation, I guess I won't be doing that either. Since that there's more to that statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a big more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. So, you were in this room the entire recess? Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get this big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here. At least your story is consistent. Earlier you stated that you were in the lobby with Miss Yu. Yeah, I ran into her into the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. And what were you saying? And what you're saying is that until Detective Dunphy arrived, you and Miss Yu were in 2 different locations? Yes, I am. Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, he seems to have a great dislike for you. Ooh! Let's see. Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of the KGA. And as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on that case. I wonder if the reason for her distance isn't simply because you failed to guard CC, but because you were the lead detective on that case? You know? I also know that today's trial involving the Code Defiant Embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KGA incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time that you were honest with me and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday and the KGA incident. If you already know that much, I guess I'd be alright to tell you. Alright. Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KGA incident. It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG8 incident. Faraday, you and I, as you already know, we 3 were involved with the KG8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. You mentioned the smuggling case involved one of the Amano group's secretaries. That trial was just a front. A facade? A facade? Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. Then what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Devare. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring, but he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Devare was probably being intimidated by the big boss man, just another scapegoat. Boss man of the Amano Group? Can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do? Suspect Mr. Amano of being involved with the smuggling ring? I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Stacy, I was supposed to protect them both. Yes, you did mention that as well. About how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister. But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap. What kind of a trap? The holes in this jacket are a testament to the trap. You mean you were fired upon? You were shot at that many times in one gunfight? No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG-8 incident. I see. I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was not found guilty, and I look like a dead man. We had hit a brick wall as far as the law was concerned, and that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. You claim to know about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. What? The KG-8 incident and this second KG-8 incident, both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring, and in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence of absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claims to be the Yatagarasu, however, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already. I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time. A reason? And so, in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu. If it will help you solve this case, then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why you never caught the Yatagarasu. Just stare into my dum-dum. What was that sudden burst for? You almost made me whip you by accident. It still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind ever. See, so those are the Yatagarasu's special traits. Sounds like an incredibly exclusive theme. The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape. Never tries to draw anyone's attention. Would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew the Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away. But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't. Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking. Kick! What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Codepian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. Not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure. And just what sort of card is it? Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, the white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. Oh, and that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Well, when you first met Miss Yu, it was on the day the verdict of the KG-8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes. Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face. Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If I was not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough. I suppose not. You said it herself. That she never wanted to see either of us ever again. After that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah. Faraday and I, even after the KG-8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases, but the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is the ring really that big? It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. You She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them. Her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them? Yeah. You was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time for the same reason. Come to think of it, this you did say something to the same effect. I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG8 incident, alright? And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer? Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him. Ever. Don't you dare suggest I was going to. Doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable. You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are. Get that dum-dum out of my face! It's strawberry kiwi. No, suck it. How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Karma? Just like us, you felt that she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it. Only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. Minty Black? Welcome. Bro, I'm like the infinite lollipop. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So, if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to the question myself, and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. September 10th. District Court, Courtroom Number 3. It appears that His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. And thus, there's no need to further depress His Honor. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor. Your Honor, I have come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence? Your Honor! Oh! Yes. I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused as long long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. I would accept that the defense attorney has been done. She is busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Wells are also included. Please go ahead and use them in your investigation into their case. Understood, Your Honor. Pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. And maybe even something that will finally lead me to the truth. Let's put all the evidence over at the prosecutor factory. Thank you very much. I will go confirm that they are all accounted for. It looks like your debut trial fizzled out thanks to it being declared a mistrial. Too bad. But now you can take your time bidding the evidence they transfer to you goodbye. It's much too early to sell the pieces that were given to me. Oh? How do you figure? Two of the pieces were used to kill Mr. Faraday and Mr. Ralph. Naturally, having all of them makes it easier for me to examine them more thoroughly. Yes, of course. Don't tell me you forgot that fact, didn't you, Francisco? I don't have to use that characteristic and foolish question of a foolish fool. Now hurry up and check the evidence already. Trust me, I will in due time. So this is the evidence related to today's codepine embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag. You mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right? Yes, finally we can now take a look at the evidence itself, and not just data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have time this time. Agreed, I want to take a good look at all the evidence from the embassy murder too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about. Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something. And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. I see someone's still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. It's also real to see. Knife up close. So we have the knife. What's the organizer doing here? That's right. I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside the evidence bag. Detective Bad requested it be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation. Detective Bad said that? What a strange stroke of luck. Well, never look at a gift horse in the mouth. You might as well flip through it, too. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. We're going to be hearing this in the next game, Di. So this is probably going to be the phrase that you're going to remember. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used? Who would thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? And it's never crossed your mind that you used your writing prop for the wrong purpose? So, before I continue, what do you notice about this knife? So, there's something besides the blood on the blade. What else did you notice about this knife? There's one thing about the knife that should seem odd to you. Yes, the handle. We'll find out more about the handle later. It was originally used to kill the Codependent Embassy staff member, and the crime was reported. The responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. You'll find out. And then, this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this subject. Took the look through these documents before the trial started. Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. I suppose I should explain it to you that yes, you should. Perfectly and in its entirety, if you please. On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Mackerel was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon was found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps it was, but the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence he had. Mr. Rell was caught in the act on film by a security camera. He was even bigger simpleton than I thought. I can't believe he didn't notice the security camera. The Codependent Embassy security camera is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not have been aware that there was a camera in the area. So, have you seen the content of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was playing during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rell on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage indeed sounded, huh? Footage sound, huh? I don't think I've ever wanted to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. Mr. Faraday's organizer. It appears he was in the habit of using it. Looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here. I've collected the evidence I needed to prove that Mr. Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape I found, should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believes that Mr. Rell was the killer in this case. The sound of his handgun going off is recorded with superb quality on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Mr. Rell is not the real Yata-Garasi. And it would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Yata-Garasi. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yata-Garasi's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, it should clear everything up. He apparently also had a very decisive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell may have made about being the real Yata-Garasi. He had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take take my time and give it a thorough read later. Mr. Faraday's organizer data jotted down in my organizer. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. Alright, take a look at this picture. Anything you noticed about it? The handle. Yeah, the handle. We'll figure out the connection later. There appears to be a key. And a rather ornated one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. Craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yada Garage's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? Yada Garage's key? Detective Bad said something earlier. What's different about this time is that the evidence relating to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Codified Embassy. Yada Garasu. Yada Garasu sent the evidence? Until now, the Yada Garasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings to the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and select few others knew about. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe, as the prosecutor on both the Yada Garasu and the smuggling ring case. That's to be expected. Yada Garasu's key data jotted down in my organizer. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. That's especially odd. The weapon that was used to kill the Codified Embassy staff member was his gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rell. That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, marking it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse? I need to think careful here. There is nothing related to the knife wrench anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. So in order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer for Lisa. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we have holding has been hiding a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. Di, you can figure this one out, right? Well, we don't have a key. We don't have the key in our evidence. That's something you gotta think about. We don't have the key yet. So, where's the key? So, in our evidence, what do we have? I don't see how that answers my question at all. Every piece of evidence has some secretive aspects about it. Oh? They demand to know what the secret is to this one. Alright, maybe there's no secret to this one. I need to think carefully here. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's origin. However, it is the fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Firstly, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. I believe I need to take another look at the evidence. The knife was definitely brought in somehow, and it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought through this courthouse. So if that's not the case, then it's going to be this one. This Yatagarasu key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look at a bit closer, Francisco, to see what I mean. Doesn't the color and the ornament of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yatagrasu's key and this photo and the mysterious knife have this very unique design on their handle. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentioned the Yatagrasu's key, the only object we have found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say... It appears that you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are in fact one and the same. But that's impossible! Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine the knife in a little more detail. I can't believe it turned into a key! To think there is such a trick to this thing! So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. Yatagarasu key data updated in my organizer. Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of the evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key, the knife trick, could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, the key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than Mr. Faraday, meaning that the only person it could be in this one who sent the key in the first place, the great thief Yatagarasu. And maybe Mr. Wright really was the Yatagarasu, and he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario? No, not really. Especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Wright was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, the detective dad said earlier, but when we questioned Wright about what was sent along with the white card, Wright had no idea what it was. I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and the person is the real Yatagarasu. It seems this key is truly the key to solving the case. Knife data updated into my organizer. That's odd. For sure one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? video showing the moment in which Mr. Ralph committed the murder. Where could it have gone, indeed? Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honor, were you, derelict in your duty? What? No, I dare not lick my duty. What do you take me for? No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial, the surveillance video, is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's old bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene. There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. With care that means to find the answer I seek, I will have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime. The defendant lobby number 2. September 10th, 6 o'clock p.m. District Court, defendant lobby number 2. That's Detective Bad. But who is he with? I've never seen that officer before. So, did you find it? No, not yet. And I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. So you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at the crime scene. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? You know who he was, Di, right? What was that all about? And who was that man just now? You know who he was, Di? I bet you do. Murder. Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. Yeah, you do. We'll meet him back later. Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him? I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids? It looks like you were paying attention after all. Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head. Oh, so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now? The guy came here from the Republic of Zenfa to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of this entertainment from scratch. By visiting various police departments around the world, there's a lot of dedication. And he's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude. Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. Very true. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyways, what was the agent looking for, Detective Bad? Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well. Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you. I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine, but this is the game I must play, and I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happens in this room straight from him. It looks like Detective Bad is searching for something. Indeed, I'm curious as to what it could be. Maybe I should just ask him. Earlier you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You are quite the busy man, Detective Bad. Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Boy, you'll see. I will draw my answer from you one way or another. Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation? I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think? Please, we are asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime. I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about? You don't know about, but aren't you supposed to know everything? You should. Is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind the piece of evidence? Let's just try showing it. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Detective Bad, do you know of the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu key are one and the same? What? That's impossible! It looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu key, is actually a woven camouflage knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu key to prove that Mr. Rowe was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was, in fact, a knife. Yeah, I have to admit, neither of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago you appeared to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for. Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. After he was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought the key is what took Faraday's life? Detective Bad? So that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more. Alright. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this. That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything and find the truth behind this case. Detective Bad's movements. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial thing. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe whooping around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. Sounds like the exact same story he told us before. Indeed, however, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. Ready, Day? Why did Miss Yu choose lobby number 1? Answer me! Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we talked into lobby number 1 together. That's all. His answer remains the same as before, it seems. I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with you. Trivial stuff. There's nothing important. That's for me to decide. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then. Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. The gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the other. That would give that other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. Hold it! Detective Bad, you honestly don't remember hearing anything else? Yeah. Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something? I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've got quite the habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes around me. If there had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it. I suppose with this detective, that's probably very likely. So that gunshot. Hold it! And why did the two of you dash down into the hallway straight away? Because we clearly heard the sound of the gunshot, and we knew it came from somewhere nearby. And how did you know that it was a gunshot? My line of work, you hear enough of them to know. It was only natural for a detective to know what a real gunshot sounds like. But given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out into the hallway right away and headed for where he was. Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway? Yeah. Why didn't you attest to that earlier? I saw Gumshoe it was after I heard the gunshot. Having seen him then didn't change the fact that he still could have done the deed. It sounds exactly like what Detective Bad told us before. However, is there something in particular we should be asking the detective about? There's just might be. No one knew that the knife is actually the Yatagarasu key. Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things that we know now, but Detective Bad doesn't yet. Yes, that should be my angle of attack. Okay. Statement should be pretty easy to pick. The new one. Alright, so here we go. Which piece of evidence do you think it is? You're gonna go with balloon, okay.
Objection!
Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? It's the same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you knew about the girl's balloon? Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery during the recess, just before we split up. I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh? So the sound that the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh? On top of that, His Honor said that he heard the balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was about to reconvene. Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway when you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at the time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So? Don't give me a so! We just proved that there is a flaw in your testimony. The crackling of the truth is louder than the sound of your sweet naivety crackling. And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you even stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rough? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked. What is that supposed to mean? The doors and walls are super thick. The window panes are double layered. To top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Since I was shut up in lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound. No! Gert! I knew that's what he was going to say. Then that means the scruffy face testimony is completely useless. If the room was soundproof, then of course he couldn't hear any sign of a struggle. That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now, do you get it, kids? Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding flaws in his logic, not the other way around. The other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. Oh? How so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the gunshot enter your ears? I see what you mean. I guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought. Which means, what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to? It boils down to this. There must be a reason as to how Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot they theoretically couldn't have. It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh? State of the crime scene. Wait, can it be? It's that ultra-piercing, ultra-strong perfume you wear. She spilled some of it. And way too noisy. surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? All right. I have work. You ready to figure this out, Di? Okay. Let's connect this one instead of the TV, okay? Because we have not, the reason why we can't connect this with smell is the fact is they're in two different rooms. So there's not really anything to connect the TV to because these were in two different rooms. It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet, the fragment of the perfume remains to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. Now we have something that we can connect these to. So these two can be connected now. Now then, what else besides a smell can go back and forth of an open barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the window were open, the jig would be up. And since the window in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both directions. And we only have one thing left. The missing piece of evidence is a video. It shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was playing during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess and brought back here. If it disappeared after the time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. And where should that be? I believe we should examine the television. The TV? Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you want. I won't rest until I inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Here we go again, Di. It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside. Looks like it. It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end. This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape? I suppose, but stick to bed. Would it be alright with you if I verify the contents of this tape? Sure, knock yourself out. Alright, then let's rewind this and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Ralph killing the embassy staff member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. Understood. This should be about right. Now, then let's see. This is the footage of Mr. Rell shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence is surveillance video. Was here all along. Surveillance video data jotted down in my organizer. The sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you figured it all out then? Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was. And through where they heard it from. Fine. In that case, show me what you to do. Now to show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through what they heard it from. Alright, let's do this. Okay. So, we're going to do this. And die? I'll let you pick. Is this spot somewhere connected to any of the evidence I hold? This one should be pretty easy. No. We're deducing sound, so the key doesn't make sound. So you're trying to figure out how Bad and Gumshoe heard the gunshot. And with what we just picked up, that should be your answer. Alright, that's the last piece of evidence. If the door and the windows to the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser. That's true. This courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were. However, what happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot. All the windows in lobby number 1 and number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it. But then, why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, suppose. Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. So why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction. Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of? This one should be very easy to figure out. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes. And they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. So, that's why the tape was left running? You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes, which means that the murder really occurred at an early time than we thought. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, what is it? She was asking you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something. Looks like Miss Yu is still investigating. Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over. Oh, come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. Okay. So, that one was a bit short. So we will be finishing up this case today. So before we continue and ask questions, I will be right back. Okay, so let's talk about this case a little bit. So, do we have any questions? We have any concerns? Any criticisms? No? Okay. So, what did we learn from this part? The noise was manipulated, yes, and the crime, the double murder, happened earlier than when people had initially thought it did. We've also learned about the knife and its true secret. We know where the missing key is at. So, at this point, you know who the culprit is, Di. Bad is not bad. You're correct. That's what I said at the beginning of this episode. He may look intimidating, but he's pretty much a teddy bear. Anybody else have an idea on who the killer is? No one? We're about to find out. We're about to find out. All right, let's continue. September 10th, 6:15 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 3. Okay, what are you doing here? Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating. But the object you're looking for has already... Okay, don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation. Okay, you got it. Detective Bad, haven't we already found what you were looking for? If it means I can keep her in the dark just a little longer, any little task will do. Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought. See? Pretty much a teddy bear. I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth. I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. So this is going to feel like you're in a courtroom, okay? Which we technically are, but it's not like the Phoenix Wright games. Because a lot of people were like, we didn't get no trial segment in the investigation series. We came very close. We came very close. And this is the closest that we're ever going to get in the investigation games anyway. The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest, Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we were more than solved this case already. Don't you? We'll see. It all depends on whether or not your logic holds. Oh, I see we have a viewer in the gallery. And why even Mr. Bad is here? A viewer in the gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander. I have a duty to see this case through the end, no matter how it turns out. Oh, is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I slaved away to find out. Taking statements on every single person's movement, and the time when our suspect was in the hallway. I always confirm that there is no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. You know, I feel like this is like Among Us a little bit. You'll understand in a minute. You'll understand where I'm going with that. Therefore, the killer must, without a doubt, be Detective Gumshoe. And that's all you have? Yeah, that's all there is to it. My conclusion in this case. Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there's always time for rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of court. In this case, don't you think? I absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing. But alright, I'll play along with you. Give you a proper testimony. My logic is correct and I've already won. All I have to do now is to prove it by showing who the real killer is. Misuse argument. Everyone stands the suspect. This is before that game came out. Has an alibi for when the gun went off. You know what game I'm referring to? Furthermore, the area around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right? Also confirm that there is no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth. But of course, there's no need to confront her logic head on right now. I should instead focus on drawing out any trump cards she has up my sleeve. Press every statement given. That should be easy enough for you, right, Di? Press every statement given. The suspect? But I thought Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven. Are you joking, Edgeworth? I assure you this is no joke. Look, I know you heard from the judge earlier that the detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll. Yes, that is correct. See, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? And the problem is, there's no one else who can corroborate what he did since the snacking. I see she's done her research well, which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump card she's withholding. Hold it! Whether they have been thoroughly investigated or not is for me to decide. This scrunched elbows and the lines on your forehead are back. Anyway, even if you believe it hasn't been exhaustive, the crime scene, lobby number 2, has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe was standing in. And because he claims to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect. But isn't it possible that someone escaped through a window and into the garden? That's the first place everyone looks, Ellie. The police aren't a bunch of lazy bums. They look into every possibility, you know. Isn't that right, Mr. Bad? Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. I suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely positive that there is no possible route of escape? Of course I'm sure. And why are you so certain? This is the courthouse, the place where criminals are brought to be judged. If there were an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. Just common sense. Miles Edgeworth, I suggest you use a bit more of it in the future. Yeah!
Hold it!
You may think it's uncheckable, but to me, there are still too many unanswered questions. For example, who was it that placed the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand? But you're the only one still wondering that. Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know someone, it doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write with, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing. I'm not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flippant statement. I was kind of upset that I couldn't remember Edgeworth's name while trying to give context to a reference. Miles Edgeworth? Like miles per hour? Like, Apparently, his Japanese name reference to edge of a sword, which is why he's known as Miles Edgeworth in the States. Like the blade's edge of a sword. That's apparently what he's referred to over in Japan. His name. Which is probably why he's called Miles Edgeworth over here. So there is some connection between his Japanese name and his international name. I suppose we've really reached the end now. I already have my trump card ready. All that remains is to play it. But before I do, I think I should inquire into a little something about her argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of each person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Francisco or myself speaking with you about that subject. Ah, but there were witnesses for you. There is your mentor who gave you an alibi. Let's see. As for this little Missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess. And we stopped by a security guard at the door to the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Karma, and I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard or bailiff, or anyone else. Wait. So basically, the only reason for this to bother to show up today was because she found out that I was to be the replacement prosecutor. By the way, Miss Hugh, what about everyone's alibi before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard you? What about them? Have you looked into what people were doing during the span of that time? What kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went into lobby number 2. From the time we heard the gunshot to the time Mr. Bad and I arrived on the scene as we dashed from lobby number 1, the only people who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe. Yeah, let's talk about when you and Detective Bad heard the gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, that Detective Gumshoe is the one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when the gunshot you heard went off? What then? He didn't expect him to think that far ahead. That gunshot was a trap. Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1, care to explain how that could have been fabricated? You know this answer, Di. You know this answer very well.
Take that!
That tape? Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell, the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found located in the video player in lobby number 2. That was connected to the large television that had its volume turned up all the way up. You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video. Ah, but I do. Which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. So this is new animation that we have not seen from her. She is reapplying her makeup, which means she's getting nervous. That's the only thing I can think of too. After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Yes, that's makeup. Turned the television volume all the way up and left the video to play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we now know that this method of tape manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe. Sound from a television doesn't amount to much here, because of course Mr. Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we knew, didn't we, Miles? Yes, of course. We know about the soundproof quality of this courthouse room. Of course, I'm not about to admit we had no idea until only a little while ago. That's right. If the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear it. And yet, we heard the gunshot clear as day. And that's it. End of story. Can we suspect who's the killer now? But it's not. How should I explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from a soundproof room? There is actually one common point between lobby number 1 and lobby number 2. And it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was open in each. Very nervous. Very, very nervous. Now, we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also open.
Objection!
It's probably just coincidence that they were both open at the same time. No, it was planned.
Objection!
It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Why was the window open in lobby number 1? The answer is that a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. And that person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. The real killer in this double murder is... Drum roll, please. Die, you know the answer.
Take that!
Miss Callisto Yu, I hereby formally indict you of the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rao. Even bad is shocked. What? You indict me? Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she is the killer? I don't understand her motive just yet, but of course I'm serious. Because she is the only one who could have done it. Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now? Ha 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 ha. Of course I do, Miles. My argument must not be tight enough yet. Although I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know I'm enjoying this dance quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal now, right? This year's rebuttal. Your argument that the window was open, however, do you have proof it was I who did that? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this, especially with the logic as full of holes as yours. This is where it really starts. I mustn't let my guard down for even a second or the truth will be blown away. Now is the time to put the patent Bond Karma perfect proof to the test. The contradiction for this is very eyesore. You're gonna press.
Hold it!
Evidence? All I need to do is have some prints analyzed, and we'd know straight away. Be my guest. It sounds as though she has the room to maneuver, which means even if we were able to lift prints, they'd only show that it was someone else, but why that someone else was forced to open the window? That's simple logic. Why don't I try presenting that piece of evidence? I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. What's wrong? The scrunched elbows, lines on your forehead, they're all back! More importantly, are you going to be okay? Not running a fingerprint analysis? Yes, I'll be fine. Oh, well in that case, I'll just continue with my testimony. Alright. Get your 10% at Poggers. Go to our affiliate link. Anyone purchase anything? Nobody. Alright. Yeah, but I will get to it after.
Hold it!
I thought I just proved that it was. Sure, you proved that the tape was there at the scene of the crime. However, that doesn't prove that it was actually used in said crime. Unfortunately for you, Miss Yu, the fact that the tape was there at the crime scene is in itself very important. So, by the very existence of the tape at the crime scene, it's proof that proves the possibility that the when of the crime could have been fabricated, and that possibility alone renders all alibis and witnesses reports irrelevant. Basically, it means that we will need to re-examine every person's movements again. Whether the tape was used in the crime or not, that we can re-evaluate afterwards. So in conclusion, you're admitting that you can't prove that it was at this point. And if you're shocked, that is of no concern to me. I do things my own way. Oh? I see that you're not laughing for a change, because I'm shocked. Again, you being shocked is of no concern to me. Let us continue with the testimony. Aha! Alright, but let me say just one thing. You shouldn't go around accusing people. If I have evidence, I accuse people. And Edgeworth didn't accuse anybody until he got evidence, right?
Hold it!
Full of holes? Well, I suppose it might be. Oh, admitting to your own faults now, are we? At this point in time, is what I meant to say. Should I take that to mean that you're just a sore loser? No matter how full of holes my logic may be right now, if I plug them one at a time, I will ultimately make my way to the truth. What a paradox. Take care to not fall into one of those holes before you fill it up. Miles, you remember, don't you? About why a window in lobby number 1 was open? Yes, of course I do. And that's how I'll attack. I'll present that reason why the window had to be open. So they already gave you your clue right at the end there, Di. You're gonna go next? No. So listen what it says. Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? She's asking a question, which is something that we can't prove, okay? The question is directing to him, okay? As of right now, we don't have any proof that the tape was used in committing the crime, okay? is the last statement. You want to go to the first one, okay. That would be the last thing we look for. So, the hint that they gave you at the end should help you figure out this one. I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Miss You? Aha, Edgeworth. I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. Not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know. What? This isn't mine. That's right, it's mine. And I received it from Detective Bad, you see. Miss You, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much for sure. That this bottle of perfume was given to Detective Bad by you. Because it gets really strong really fast. So, what about the perfume? While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show of filling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bad. Oh, I know. You also knew that if you spilled it, he would naturally move to open a window. Come on, I've already told you that's all just a big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know? So maybe it was just dumb luck that we heard the gunshot through the window. The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something you could control. And the most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the shot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have any alibi for yourself at the time. You mean? Yes, you. You were the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1. When you saw him bringing Detective Gumshoe into the hallway. Isn't this correct? All of today's premeditated events could only have been thought up by you, Miss You. Grrr. Ha, 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 ha. You accused me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume? Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday. Do you care to testify as to why? Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Why it couldn't be me. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife that was used to kill him came from. Miles, her testimony is flawless. Yes, but no matter what sort of tricks she may try to pull, she can't escape me. If I'm lacking in information, I'll just draw it out of her. I think already explained the significance of that earlier. I only confirmed that I did spill some perfume. That's all. That you would accuse me of murder based on a simple spell. Don't you dare complain when I sue you for defamation of character. Ha 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 ha! We've heard that word before a number of times. Do as you like, but as for me, I believe. You believe? I believe that fairies grow on trees, and that you are the true culprit in this case. Fairies grow on trees. Fairies grow on trees? My, you're enthusiastic. Of course, I should have guessed. I formally request that you detest in your attack against my mentor. Yes, or we'll sue you for defamation. All I'm doing is telling the truth. Or maybe more like spreading gossip. Although you admit denials are, shall we say, just adding fuel to the fire. How dare you say such a thing? Calm down, little girl. Don't let her get to you. Aww. Why did you have to ruin my fun? Well, shall I continue? Why exactly could you not have killed him? I was just about to testify to that. You're such an impatient man. I'm not really into that, you know, Edgeworth. Your performances have no bearing on what it is at hand. Feeling a little uncomfortable, are we? Grrr.
Objection!
Miss you would detest this tomfoolery and return to your testimony. A 13-year-old girl using tomfoolery. That word is old. To think, in today's age, a 13-year-old girl knowing tomfoolery. And Miles, if you're going to lose your cool, then I won't show you any mercy. Sorry. It's you. Please continue with your testimony. Sure. As I was saying, I couldn't have possibly have killed Mr. Faraday. At this rate, she will inevitably escape. But if she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday, then she must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, Miss Yu. Maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag. Miles! What do you think you're doing? I'm drawing the truth out of her. That's what I'm doing. Huh? But I don't recall a knife being present at the trial earlier today. Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use. So that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with these lies? I've already figured you out. There were no knives inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence he had yet to present was the key the Yatagarasu had sent. Unless the key had magically turned into a knife, you really haven't had a leg to stand on. How did she know that he had a knife, had a key on him? How did she know? Because Detective Bad and Faraday should have been the only ones who know about that key. See, he's stunned about it too. Did you really think you could trap me? Come now, be honest. Never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you might append what you just said to your testimony. Sure. Why not? I'll even say it as many times as you'd like. Anybody see the typo? Anybody see the typo? Yeah. There was a key in his evidence bag, but you can't kill anyone with a simple key. Okay, this is the last statement, Di. Miss Yu, I would just like to confirm something with you one more time. Well, about what's going to happen to Detective Gumshoe after this? I don't need to ask you about that, because he isn't the killer. Looks like the number of wrinkles on your forehead have increased yet again. That issue aside, Miss Yu, I'd like to ask you about what was inside the bag. You are sure it was the Yatagarasu's key, correct? Yes, I'm sure. Which is why I'm completely baffled as to where the knife could have come from. I think I've just spotted the road to a perfect victory. Finally, it would appear that you have revealed your true identity, Miss Yu. Miles, her final statement. Yes, I know. All I have to do now is to present the evidence. What is this? Obnoxious feeling that I can't shake. You know how to solve this one, right? No. It would be the new one. And you should know what the evidence is. Yes. Well, actually, it's going to be this one. You can use the key too, but we're going to use this one.
Objection!
Miss Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me. This is a picture of the key the Yatagarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it is in fact has the secret ability to transform into a knife, which means that what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag was both the Yatagarasu key and the mysterious knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not? Yes. Well, with the Yatagarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Do you understand now? Just knowing the existence. I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know. You would, even though still feign ignorance. I'm not feigning anything. But we can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence. Now, Mr. Von Karma, I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Are you mocking my papa? Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor. Now, take a good look. This piece of evidence is more than real. Wow, who knew there was such a trick to this thing? You did. Are you satisfied now? But of course, you knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew the knife and the Yatagarasu keys are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who isn't a member of the law enforcement and who would never have been privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, it's something the Yatagarasu sent to the police. How did you have knowledge as to what it was? Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at the time. But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transformed. Well, that's funny because, apparently, Mr. Faraday didn't know anything about it turning into a knife. What you are saying is simply not possible. Oh, and why not? Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. From within these pages, he mentioned nothing about a knife. I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know. Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral conversations? No, if he knew about it and it was evidence, yeah, he would write it down in his organizer. That's what evidence is.
Objection!
Unfortunately, that is also impossible, because Detective Bad didn't know about the knife aspect either. What would have been highly classified information even within the police force, and is something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opportunity? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have much of a reason. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, huh? How can you laugh at a time like this? She probably just realized the flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with. I suppose you're right. It's you. I'd like to state that I also know how you know the real nature of this knife. Do you now? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me? Oh, I will, and I will wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. This is it, a moment of truth, the secret behind the Yatagarasu's key. Only one person would have had knowledge of it from the get-go. Who would know from the start that the Yatagarasu key would change into a knife? The answer to this is actually very simple. There's two victims, Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rowell, and neither one of them knew about the knife. Well, we have to prove how she knows. So there had to have been somebody else who knew about the key. Kay would not know about the key. She doesn't even know about the knife either. At this age, she would know nothing about it. The Yatagarasu? See how you spell that. Almost. Almost. Yatagarasu.
Take that!
There is only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key. Aha! And that is the person who sent the Yatagarasu key to the police. That is to say the Yatagarasu herself. Are you saying that the lawyer is the great thief Yatagarasu? That's you? You used Mr. Rell to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You, who profess to bear a grudge against criminals. Why? Why do something like this? Who would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? It is from this game. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill is even greater than when I sneak into someplace. Yeah, when the next game comes up, I'm going to put music up for Prosecutor's Gambit. You killed Faraday? Why? Answer me, Callisto, you. Callisto, you, huh? Not my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Let me tell you something, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. You see, he had discovered my true identity, which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. I made Rell an offer, widow, for a little favor in return. All I had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagarasu in court. Once we entered the recess, Rell was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rell caves to only two things, money and authority. Just as all thugs do. I feared my plan was going to be ruined, and Mr. Faraday held on to Rell any longer. Plus, if I had to let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both. But then you say that you despise criminals? But do I really? You! Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too? Maybe. What sort of woman would? So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent? Haha. Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. The judge is not in here. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rell wasn't the Yatagarasu by using the Yatagarasu key as evidence. That he would bring it with me. Which is why I thought to use the knife for it. weapon as well designed as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered lobby number 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. In order to get in with him, I pretend to be worried about something. He then let me hold the Yatagarasu key just like that. Never noticed that I had changed the key for the knife inside the plastic bag. And he didn't have the chance to take note of the knife that took his life. How could you kill him? I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death. Or if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rowe as well. I believe I mentioned why when we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness, and how that led the killers to think about setting them up as though they'd kill each other. Then the trick with the surveillance tape? Yes, I hadn't actually planned to use a gun. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of the surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene. After all was said and done, to reward him for all his hard work with a bullet. You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you? How could you betray a client? Client? If you want to talk about who was a client of who's first, it was me. I was the client in the murder of the Codepian Embassy staff member named Man. You? Ordered a hit job? You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Dad. I had the Man killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Well, success cake. We don't appreciate self-advertisement in my chat. Don't self-promote. Keep that in mind for those of you that are on Twitch, Kick, or YouTube. We don't self-promote. Sorry. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination? It can't be you. You're... That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling. What? How could this? You don't mean you're working with Manning coaching too, do you? Maybe, maybe not. Guess you'll never know. Yatagarasu claims to be the noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. That's right, little girl. The Yatagarasu is just another killer. Be quiet, you! Yatagarasu, you can run. You can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So, just humbly accept the judgment of this court. Have you noticed that with this sprite, they moved his sprite back so he can extend his arm? I can almost guarantee that that's not going to happen on the remake. But there's a reason why they were doing it here. There's a reason why they were doing it here. Because they couldn't fit him on screen. But I can almost guarantee on the remake, that's not going to happen. You didn't pay attention to the sprite. Miles Edgeworth sprite. They pushed the sprite back so that he can extend his arm. I can almost guarantee on the remake that's not going to happen. They did that so they can fit his arm on screen. Hey, Edgeworth, did you know Yatagarasu has 3 legs? Do you know what that is? Well, it's not something that they really had to fix. That's something that they had to do. That's the thing. That's something that they had to do because of the screen size. But with the remake, that's not going to happen. There wouldn't be a need to push the sprite back. Yeah, the screen is wider, so they have no reason to push the sprite off screen. They're not going to extend his arm longer. Matter of fact, when he extends his arm up across the screen anyways, it's shorter than his perspective anyways. So they can get his true perspective of his arm in the remake. No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Yatagarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Yatagarasu key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'll still gladly take it. You mean the key was your real target? And even after I gave you such great advice, didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on a criminal? Or you may regret what comes of your negligence. You two, get down! My body! I can't move! Hey, mister! To your right! You! Are you alright, Francisca? I'm perfectly fine, Miles. Her voice is shaking. But it looks like she's unarmed. Where did Kay go? That's a gunshot. September 10th, 7 o'clock p.m., District Court, or room number 3. Sorry, but it looks like she got away. His shoulder was hit. I called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bad, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket. They may say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. more importantly, Mr. Edgeworth, is Von Karma. Are you too hurt? I'm absolutely fine. I'm also alright, thanks to Kay. Speaking of Kay, where is she? I don't know. She just sort of disappeared. I'll go look for her. Oh, hey, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Detective Bad, sir. I'm sorry, I doubted you. Don't worry, sir. It's not your fault. Well, I lied to you guys too, after all. I heard about what happened from Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in that case, you were protecting Kay and her feelings. Looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. Now, don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? You got it, Pops. Pops? Watching one too many detective dramas recently, have we? Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one smirky comment. I should get back to the investigation. I swear I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do. Be careful, Detective Bad, and take care. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find out the truth behind everything. Yes, well, I'm glad we solved everything before you were taken to prison. I can't believe how much trouble I caused you in my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. Oh, it was no problem, really. I mean, I lied too, so I didn't help anything. It's really not your fault, Your Honor. Well, even if we didn't have His Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf. Yeah, I can't believe I was about to get fired during my first week as a detective. Well, so long as you're not fired, you should work hard. Give all that you have and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me. Did? Oh, what is it? What was it that Kay left for me? The proof of their friendship. Well, Di, this should probably be quite easy. I'm going to make it easy on you. Swiss roll! Di wants a Swiss roll.
Take that!
I'm going to have to get some Swiss roll when I get food stamps. It's a courthouse special Swiss roll! Though 2 Swiss rolls is not going to cost me $6. It's going to cost me a lot less than that. Way less. A box of them cost me about $2. Yeah, can I really have it? Yes, it's a present meant for you after all. Well, thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now. Sure, go ahead. Swiss roll Detective Gumshoe and Kay bought together. While the one Kay saved never reached her father. It would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective. so happy. It's as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him. Woo! That was good, pal! Can't believe I got to eat 2 of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. I'm trying to think myself. Hey, wait. Where is she? You only noticed just now? Was his mind not present when we discussed her earlier? Detective Bad left to go search for her earlier. Maybe you should go join him. Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna help him. Oh, but first, you know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I sense nothing but a most troublesome relationship from this obnoxious statement. But yet they make a good team. We should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report what has happened to Papa. Agreed. Well, I'm afraid we must be going now, Detective. Roger, sir. And don't you worry, I'll investigate the next case. We're on real well. I could not even see well out of that. That was odd. I'll be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Just like a bad dream, my first outing at court came to a disturbing end. A few moments later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I have tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me. But I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now... So, do you remember now? Yes. I remember everything. Okay. It's been a while. Carrie! You sure grew up a lot! Of course, but thank goodness. I thought you two had totally forgotten about me. No, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time? Gummy? I didn't know you cared. Oh, after my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived really far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much. Oh, then what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're alright. So, does it all make sense now? You betcha it does! Oh, you know what? I was going to my father's bookshelf, and actually there are still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay. Oh? First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? The Yatagarasu is Callisto's view, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu, my father. Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu? Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelves recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu. That was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure. But that's impossible! What's wrong with what's with that look? You don't believe me? It wasn't just the expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now. Alright then. How do you explain this? It's a way of disarming any security system with the user's choosing. Yep, that's Little Thief. Truth be told, this is the Yatagarasu's greatest secret. And this little gizmo was used by my father. Wow! Mr. Faraday wasn't just a great prosecutor, he really was a great thief, huh? Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed. The Yatagarasu was no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu has been spotted yet again. Finally. Someone other than you? Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a good look at this article. The Yatagarasu sent the embassy a calling card? Yeah, meaning this person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callisto U lady is behind this. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like a gaudy card out. But the Yatagarasu did send a white card along with anything to be publicized. That's what Detective Badge told me 7 years ago, if memory serves. Well, as soon as I heard about the news, I got all wound up. And I knew I couldn't just let it go. So I searched you out, so that I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured you, Mr. Edgeworth. So you're saying that I have your father's and Mr. Yu's identities backwards? Yes, because the real Yatagarasu is noble to the end. And I want to reveal the real noble Yatagarasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace. Hey, you're so honorable. I don't care what anyone says, anyone else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you up on Bell. Even if you are honorable, a thief is a thief. And if you're plotting to commit a crime, then I'm afraid I can't be complicit. Mr. Edgeworth, you guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now? Mr. Edgeworth, what I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is to arrest of that evil woman. An evil woman? You mean Callisto U? I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself. But I thought that since you were able to expose her for who she is, then maybe. Please, Mr. Edgeworth. Won't you help me? Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you. Huh? Owe me for what? When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I am not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid. Then you mean? Yes. That case has been weighing down on my soul ever since that fateful day. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to sully your hands in a crime, then I believe I can help you. Mr. Edgeworth, thank you. Yay, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Isn't that great, Kay? Yeah, it sure is, Gummy. Even though he had completely forgotten about her until just now. What is with their chummy relationship? A great thief Yatagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Bernie Faraday. Listo U and K Faraday. The phantasmagorically changed identity of the great Yatagarasu. Great thief Yatagarasu. And their Yatagarasu's real goal would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. Okay. Okay. So this next case here, let's see what it looks like. This actually looks like K Faraday. So you have Dick Gumshoe, you got Long Lang, you got Franziska, you got Miles. Yes, Turnabout Ablaze is going to be the last one. This one's going to probably take most of September. Like I said, we're going to be probably starting Prosecutor's Gambit in October. So, and this one is a pretty long case, but I do like this case. This case is pretty heavy. It's not as long as Rise from the Ashes. I can totally admit that. Not as long as Rise from the Ashes. Rise in the Ashes just kept going and going and going, and it almost felt like there was no end. The only thing that most people hates about this is the last part in this, where it was just testimony upon testimony upon testimony upon testimony. And that almost never felt like it ended. But as far as the actual episode itself, I do think this is one of the best episodes in this game. Does it top Bridge to the Turnabout? No. I still think to this day, Bridge to the Turnabout is the best case in the entire series. And there's nobody else that was able to disprove that Bridge to the Turnabout is indeed the best case. Thank you for the follow over there on Twitch, but I know who that person was. Do not self-promote in my chats again. You are welcome to come back and watch again. Also, do take a look at our sponsor. We have to have $50 as our goal for the month here. They may continue the sponsor next month if we reach our goal. So, let me see if there's anybody that actually... I have nothing yet. Anyways. We will call it here. You are not supposed to do that. All right. To be very honest, I do not like this update of XSplit. This update of XSplit is very broken. But let's Alright, let's go find a raid target. There will be a Discord stream later tonight. There will be a Discord stream later tonight. We're going to try to see if we can do more for RPG Maker MB. We are going to raid the game that he's actually playing is known as Chase 2. So if you haven't met Light Gazer, give him a subscribe, drop him a like. He does come here on the channel, rarely. I see him in chat a lot of times. But we're going to send him some love. Spend some time over there. And